Hello everybody, welcome to Lockdown 2013. Oh, damn. This was a surprising lockdown. Was it a great lockdown? We're about to find out. Now, I'm not doing these in order like I normally do. And particularly from what happened at the end of the show, I shouldn't do this in order. So let's get some of the things out of the way. First, I wish to say clearly, commentary was terrible today. For me, for almost 80% of the matches, Taz ruined it. For the Lethal Lockdown match, for the final match between Hardy and Bully Ray, for really a majority of the matches really were brought down by Taz and his commentary. I could not stand it. So I wanted to get that out of the way first. Now, first match I'm going to talk about is Joseph Park and Joey Ryan. Glad to see Joey Ryan again. But he went from actually being someone interesting where he was messing with Taz, going to Al Snow, working with a Matt Morgan, disappearing for a month and a half, near 2, and then coming back to job for Joseph Park. Is that a good thing? Not that great. I was hoping they would push Joey Ryan. Maybe they will after this. The match itself was actually fun. I enjoyed the match, particularly when Joseph Park decided after a nice victory roll and trying to grab him, Joseph Park decides to splat his ass. Everybody in that arena just laughed and yelled and was happy about it. The Joseph Park character is still getting over very well. There was no sign of an abyss, but in this case he didn't really need it. The Joseph Park character has gotten over enough that the abyss doesn't need to be shown every single time he needs to go into a match. So I'm very happy about the Joseph Park character. I love it, and I hope they continue presenting him on TNA's Impact show. Joey Ryan, I'm actually quite hoping they'll do something with. Do I believe they will? No. I'm going to be very disappointed if they don't begin to build him more properly. Now, the X Division match, a triple threat between York, Ion, and Kenny King, was the opening of the show. Good damn match. Scary at one point when Kenny King tried to springboard off of Zane Ion's back and tried to do a backflip to hit Mr. York, and almost looked like he busted his neck up. He almost snapped his shit up. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. If you think that was a work, that was not a work. He almost snapped up his neck or messed up his back. He seriously miscalculated that springboard. He could have broken his neck seriously on the guardrail. And I'm hoping he's okay. I'm glad to see that he might be alright. And if he was hurt, he played it out very well. He made sure he didn't look so badly hurt, but he looked like he got hurt. The match itself was very good. The crowd was into it very loudly. I can say that the Alamo Dome crowd was ecstatic throughout the night. There were some points when they looked a little burnt out and they got rebuilt up again, and I'll explain that later. But the Alamo Dome was great. The panning for every match was good. I enjoyed when they panned out and did a zoom. We know the Alamo Dome is not a big arena. It's not. But it's not the point. What they did by showing as much of it as they could was good. So I enjoyed it. That really made the show for me even more. That's what brought up the rating for me from where it could have been. Now, just like I said, Kenny King, long live the king, did win. What at first was going to be feeling for me a very disappointing and boring match actually had a little twist in it. Knockouts division between Velvet Sky and Gail Kim. At first the match was average. I was bored with it. I even went away and came back until I started seeing what was going on between Gail Kim and Terrence Terrell. And please leave me a comment below. I could be wrong because of the way Gail Kim's top was being very yellow with the flower patterns on it. She always had flower patterns or some type of pattern on it. She actually looked quite aroused by this match. There is no lying that women and men get aroused when they do these types of things. If you notice with the great, the wonderful Randy Orton getting his famous ring boner, women get aroused. Their nipples get big. I believe, and please tell me below if you saw or not, the way her clothes looked, her top looked, her nipples were getting quite hard dealing with Terrence Terrell. They weren't that hard when they were dealing with Velvet Sky, so it's a possibility she actually has a thing for her. I'm not trying to make more than what it is, but it looked like it. Her nipples were pretty damn large, if you can see on the screen. But what got me was, and I saw this many months earlier, that they may have a feud between Terrence Terrell and Gail Kim. It just took a while. I really believe they could have done it much sooner, but it's okay they did it at all. So Terrence Terrell was pissed off by Gail Kim and eventually got to smack up in her damn face. And the thing that was interesting, when she speared her and started beating her up, her hair started falling out. Now that was some either not well done extensions, or that was her actual hair being pulled out of her head. Hard to tell. Particularly after a match, and we know that Velvet Sky won, the interview that was taking place got a little bit of Gail Kim interfering again, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't see if she was aroused again, but once again we see Terrence Terrell's hair being pulled out or flies out of her head. Now, it's not unusual that a woman could pull out her hair, but it was a lot of hair. So, is this going to be a match eventually? Yes. Possibly with a Velvet Sky as a ref. I don't think they're going to take Terrence Terrell off of the ref position and make her a knockout. I don't think right now. They maybe one day. But right now, I don't think so. I really believe Terrence Terrell will stay a ref. So, let's move on. Now, I wish to say that the interviews throughout the night, like with Bad Influence and Joseph Park, was quite good. When it came to Austin Aries, and we saw, and I've heard the rumors that Robert Roode's contract was up and he might not be coming back. Or it could have been a work. I'm glad he came back. I was very glad to see him. And Austin Aries put him over very well, including himself. The backstage, I think I'll save that. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save that one. The one with Billy Ray and Hulk Hogan. I'm saving that one. I'm saving it. Now, let's get into the triple threat tag team of Bad Influence. The iconic ones of Rude and Austin Aries. And the home favorites, which is Supermet and Chavo Guerrero. I was actually quite worried. The way that I remembered that both of those guys are from Texas. And I might have said that Chavo Guerrero was from Arizona. I wish to apologize for that. I had forgotten that they are from Texas. But you know what? The way it was going, the Texas crowd was really over for one person. That was Supermet Hernandez. I mean, everyone was getting their spots in. Everyone was doing very well. This was a very good and at some points very fast-paced match. I felt maybe it might have been a little too fast-paced at certain points. It needed to slow down a little bit near the end. But it wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. The match was good, and Hernandez was the one who the people were really marking for. Really. They were really marking for him. And at the end, I thought they were going to win the titles back. But when I saw that the iconic ones, Rude and Austin Aries, won, I was quite happy with it. It could have been between Bad Influence and Rude and Aries. I wouldn't have had a problem if Christopher Daniels and Kazarian had won those titles. Those are the only entertaining ones they have. Pretty much the stereotypicals are the afterthought. They're really there to help the other two from time to time. And I have no problem seeing those two in that position. I do believe that Chavo Guerrero is not going to stay like that forever. He's been there at least 8 months to 6 months already. And at least. And I don't think he's going to stay in a tag team with Hernandez forever. I really believe they're going to push him. He may go into the world title. I'll be glad if he goes in television, but it may actually be pushed into the world title because, like I said in many of my reviews before, I don't think he's going to limit himself to just being in the tag teams. But I am glad that the iconic ones did win. Now the next match. Yeah, baby, I've been saying this. I said this is going to happen. I said they were going to split. I said that it was going to come down at Lockdown. The match between Robert E and Robert T. The ET match. Rob Terry and Robert E. I know a lot of people are tired of them. I know they didn't want to see them together. And I'm not saying this was a great match. It seemed sloppy at points. Not the point. If this is to finally begin the feud into splitting them apart, that's all that matters, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Terry was sloppy. We don't usually see him wrestle much. So I'm not surprised he seemed a little sloppy in this match. Robbie T is the one who mainly does the wrestling between the two. He's an enhanced jobber. Robbie T is there as extra support to give him what he needs to win matches from time to time before he became a full jobber. So I'm not surprised he's sloppy. I am so not surprised. But at certain points, he beat his ass down. Robbie T beat down Robbie E. And he looked beast in many points during the match. And at the end, Robbie T wins, which he's supposed to, without any trouble, because he is the total cock diesel monster. With all those big, the man is like, chink. You got his shoulders, you got his chest, chink. Like a piece of granite had been carved out by Michelangelo. Quite good. That's all that matters. Now, do I believe the feud is over? Hell no. It's too soon to split these two off because you need to have Robbie T presented more. It really doesn't matter about Robbie E. Even with the interview for Robbie E. Even with the pre-tape of Robbie E. And I really didn't like it too much saying, bro, oh. It's a little too much for me. It wasn't bad. You have to show the reason why they're together. But you know what? You need to remember this. If you split them off now, who is Robbie T going to get over on? You need Robbie T to get over on the man who is an enhanced jobber, namely Robbie E. How long do I think this is going to last? Maybe about a month or two at least. I'm hoping it'll last only 2 months and they'll do something with Rob Terry. So I'll leave it at that. Now, let's see here. Should I go to it now? Should I really? Not yet. The Angle and Wes Briscoe match wasn't a bad match inside the steel cage. It's obvious that Briscoe needs more work. He doesn't wrestle much, but he still lasted pretty long in the match. He looked pretty good with Angle, and I wasn't too bad about it. The pre-tape and the interview from Kurt Angle was good, and what we saw at the end was the vice president dragging Wes Briscoe's ass out of the ring so he can get the win. Now, I know a lot of people are tired of Aces and Eights. I am as well. Particularly the pre-tape with D'Lo Brown afterward. But at least I'm going to say this. They're doing something with Aces and Eights to try and hype them up. I'll explain at the end of this review what I feel about what happened. But Wes Briscoe winning was important. We've been saying Aces and Eights need to win. And they did win. They had to have a win from someone. And the person I believe that's being pushed the most in Aces and Eights is Wes Briscoe. Let's be honest, out of that entire group, there's only mainly 2 people, and I'll explain the second one, but one of them right now is Wes Briscoe. He's the only one being really pushed. So I'm going to move on to the Lethal Lockdown match. And I was a little confused about this at the end. But opening was Magnus and Mr. Anderson. Wasn't bad in the beginning. Wasn't bad in the middle. Near the end, when you finally got Sting coming in with all the weapons, I really felt at that moment the Dream Team was going to win. Now, of course, they did win. It's obvious. Was it a great match? Not really. The crowd was interested throughout of it. They weren't really greatly hyped up. Like I said, throughout the night, the Alamo Dome crowd went up. They kind of leveled out, went down a little bit, leveled up. Believe me, by the end of the show, they were like, whoosh, went to the moon, planted a flag, and they stayed there for a week. That's how the Alamo crowd was at the end of the show. But I'll get to that later. But the thing that was a little confusing for me, Joe looked good. Magnus and Eric Young, and particularly Eric Young, looked very good. Those were the two that looked the best. But Storm, even though he did great, wasn't the one who got the win. It was Eli. Why didn't Storm get the win instead of Eli getting the... why didn't Storm get the win and it was Eli who got the win? It was very cool to see Eli at the top of the cage and then ultimate elbows Mike Knox. I'm sure that was Mike Knox. If it wasn't, I don't think it was Doc. I think it was Mike Knox. You can leave a comment below. It was kind of hard to tell because there was so much activity inside the ring. I couldn't tell who was who. But my guess it was Mike Knox. But I was very confused. Why couldn't it have been Storm to get the win? Storm is one of the most prominent persons there. He is basically main event quality, baby. He is. But it was Eli. So does that mean Eli's getting a push? Since he came back from his extreme fishing show, I don't know if he's going back in a couple of months. You never know. But if this is the case, I don't know what to make of it. Maybe Eli's contract was near its end and they wanted him to come back. So they're going to give him a push for a while. But at the price of James Storm? James Storm is a great main eventer. So it's really confusing. He didn't need to be in that match then. He needed a pay-per-view win, yes. But couldn't he have his own match? Last week on Impact, I didn't really say this. But Joe and Magnus had their match and they had their win. And then you lose for Storm. You could have had Storm separate. You don't want to make Storm look bad. And if the Slag Daddy, if you see this, my brother, please tell Dick Storm that his cousin deserved better. It doesn't mean that it's not bad for Eli. We don't know what they're going to do with him. If he's going to be a more serious character, and we know he can be serious, this could be interesting, but I don't know. I don't see if this is really good or not with Eli being pushed, if he's being pushed at all. I have a feeling he is. Now, finally, it's time to get to the main event. It's time to get what really hyped this show and what's in the title. I'm still not sure what to name the title. Is it going to be Brooke Cries? The Heel Comes Out? Batch at the Beach 96? Bite Off? Because that's how it kind of felt to me. And I'm sure a lot of people below is going to say, dude, it's not even close. But it did have that kind of feel. It did. So, Hardy and Bully Ray match. It was good. It wasn't the match of the night. For me, I don't really know which one was the best match of the night, really. A lot of people are going to say that might have been the triple tag team match, which I think it might have been. Or it could have been the X Division match, which that is a great contender. Robbie E.T. is not the greatest match of the night. But this I don't think was the greatest match of the night. It was a good match. These guys did a good job. And I almost forgot the little backstage segment between Hulk Hogan and Bully Ray. That was very profound. You could tell right there that that was some type of swerve. To hear Hulk Hogan talk about Andre the Giant, which I greatly respect. And I actually did a debate of the week on Andre the Giant and The Big Show, who was better. You can actually check my playlist on that. But you know what? Showing respect to Andre the Giant, and that respect was quite nice. Hearing it about WrestleMania. And hearing him say that Andre said it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. Make it such an impact that no one ever forgets. No one ever forgets. And I thought at that moment, I said, wait a minute, why would he be saying something like that? There's something weird going on. And I was right. At the end of the match, we got 2 attacks by Aces and Eights, Garrett and West, where they got their asses kicked by Hardy and Bully Ray. Then you have Hogan and nice, beautiful looking, nice butted, nice breasted Brooke Hogan coming out. She's there rooting for her man. Aces and Eights come out again. Before they come out, you hear Hulk Hogan say, come on, man, get up, don't give up. You got to do it. Come on. This is it. Make your moment. He didn't say it in those many words, but that's what it really came down to. And when you see Devon trying to pull out a Boltine hammer, and then you see him throw it at Bully Ray, you knew that was the end of the entire show. That something was going to go nasty. And then what do we get? We get a Jeff Hardy betrayal straight to his back. And then we get the old evil Bully Ray back. The true heel that we know is much better than the face. And at the end of it, 3 things happen. You see Bully Ray's hand raised. You see him raise my hand! That's what we got from Bully Ray. 2, the crowd is stunned. Brooke Hogan is crying and angry beyond recognition afterward as she's getting cursed out. Hulk Hogan really angry beyond fucking recognition, which is number 2. There's 1, there's 2. 3 is the Alamo Dome crowd so angry and disgusted they started throwing beer bottles, beer cans, water bottles, and everything else. Even the ref had to hit the ground because he didn't want to get hit by all those bottles. This is the reason why I said it was like Batch of the Beach, 96. Hulk Hogan was always considered a good face. He would never become a heel. Macho Man Randy Savage was his partner. He fought by his side so many times. They had their battles. But at that match at Batch of the Beach, 96, when he betrayed him and nailed him, and they came a part of, I believe they were called the Unknowns. I could be wrong. On the Outsiders. I'm sorry. I believe it was called the Outsiders. I don't know why I said Unknowns. That was such a moment that has never been forgotten. People were beyond angry when they saw Hulk Hogan turn heel. This is a bite-off in my humble perspective. It's probably not even close. It isn't. It's a rehashing and a bit watered down because you had a heel in Bully Ray who turns face and then turns back into a heel. He's always been a great heel. He did a decent face, but not a great face. And then he goes back to being what he truly is good at, being a very vicious heel and saying pretty much, what do you want, you old man, you bastard? Get the hell out of my face. What are you going to do? Oh, Brooke, I screwed you. I screwed you. And who wouldn't want to screw Brooke Hogan? Gorgeous woman. Nice body. And she likes wearing very, very short dresses to show a little more than what she got. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? This show, in this way, how was it rated? I have to say this is a B show. I know you may say, wait, why would you say B? A solid B show. Really. Because we needed a swerve. We needed something to make Aces and Eights different. I thought it could have been pretty much Garrett Bischoff's dad. A few people thought it might have been the one that shall not be named. The mid-card piece of crap, as the Off the Rope show says, Jeff Jarrett. I didn't know who else. Maybe it was pretty much Briscoe's dad, Greg. I didn't know who it could have been. But having as Bully Ray, who's actually one of the strongest heels they got in the company, makes sense. Is it a great storyline? Hell no. Aces and Eights has been losing for so long. This is a terrible faction, and this is a terrible storyline. Will Bully Ray, being the president of Aces and Eights, bring the show up? I have no idea. It depends on how they structure Bully Ray now as a heel, being from a face. I don't know if it's going to work. I think it may be too late, having Bully Ray as the heel now to save the faction. I do not believe this will work. But having Bully Ray revealed as the president makes sense to at least, not the storyline, but to get it done. You needed to do the final reveal now because it was dragged out for too long and the faction is too tiresome. We can't stand them anymore. The Shield is doing better than Aces and Eights. But now with this twist with Bully Ray, who knows if this could bring it back? I don't think it will. And I still say the Alamo Dome was fucking mad as hell. Really mad. But you know what? It wasn't like Bash of the Beach 96 where they were ready to kill somebody. But these people were mad beyond fuck. And that was the most important thing. Like I said, this is a solid B show. And I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel for this wonderful Lockdown 2013. I hope you have a good day. And take care, ladies and gentlemen. And always remember, Hollywood Hulk Hogan will always live in our hearts as the true best heel next to Vince McMahon.